Hello! I'm making a video to show you start to finish the process for creating Read Aloud image described books from your files. So I've made and will share these notes. Let's go through them. First of all, we need a Mac, which we have. We need CircularFLO Special Edition, which you will have, and also there's a new tool. So this application is going to be used along the way to do a bit of extra preparation for your files. So let's do this one. So I'm opening up your InDesign file as supplied. Now I've noticed on this Mac, and I'm hoping this may be different on your system, that we've got font issues. So the way I would usually fix this is to go into my paragraph styles and to sort out that font. Now when it has a bracket around it like that, it's because there's a clash. We've got two versions of the same font, so I'm guessing on your system that won't happen. Once you've done one, the quickest way I would recommend to fix it is to, if you need to do this step of course, is to do that. Make sure that button's on and all our styles stay in style. So that's the first step, is opening in a document and resolving any missing fonts. Then we're going to go straight into your tool. So I'm going to launch that tool, and at this point we're just starting the preparation. So I'm going to click on Start Prep, and it's going to do a few things in your document. As you can see, it's pulling in the image descriptions that we have, and it's relying on CircularFLO being running as well, and it's done all these extra things which I can go through if you like, but basically it's prepared the file ready for processing. So that's that. Step 3. Say okay to image descriptions. Yes, we've done that. Go to the page I. So you can do over here, Command J, and click on I. Go to that page. Now you can see this page has not got an alt tag. It's clearly marked there. So if I go back to your image descriptions, King of the Birds we're doing, so this one, I already had it open, so I'll open it again. This is the caption just for that cover. So the rest of these have been brought in already from the XML that you've used, so that's good, and I've been able to pick up on those. So we've got those already in there. If you need to edit any of these, you can just by changing the text. You'll see how I do it on this first one. So I'm going to paste in here. Now I've noticed a couple of these sometimes have extra returns, so watch out for that. I just put a note in here removing any extra returns. And then we need to run a CircularFLO tool. So go into the CircularFLO app, into the tools, and it's a accessibility tool. So let's bring those on. And with this selected on the page, so I'm going to use my black arrow in InDesign. I've got this this image description selected, and I want to do this one, add image descriptions. It should go green, which means it's now being applied, and it gives you a confirmation that we're all good. We've got all our alt tags now throughout all the images, so that's good. So we've done that one and we've run that one, so it goes green. So we're on to step 6 here. So now I'm going to add a preferences panel. So this is in a different tool panel. This is in the document tools panel. So go back to the CircularFLO tools, document tools. There we go. And I'm going to add a preferences panel. I suggest you do that on this first page because it keeps things neat in order. So here I'm going to make a few choices because, as I understand it, you don't need that Amazon file. We also want to use the first page as cover, so say yes to that. Set the main language to TUM. So if we put TUM there, it will be the identify the language of the document. Also, at this point you might want to change these colors. So these are the colors that are used for the document for the Read Aloud highlights. Now I wanted to show you the way to do that is, as it says here, amend them in the swatches panel. So come in here and find these colors. So rather than applying a different color, change this color. So you might want to actually pick a color from the document, or you might have a consistent one that you want to use for all of your series or all of your books. But basically this preferences panel could be saved and reapplied to other documents, so you don't have to do those steps, but I just thought I'd show you all of those. So that's adding the preferences panel, changing some of those. While we're here, we may as well also add a metadata panel. So that's back to the accessibility tools, and that's dropping over on the side here as well. So I've put some suggestions of, we're going to declare that it has got synchronized audio. Yep. We've got our reading order sorted out in this document, and also it does use sound. So I'm just typing those things in there. You could add more. I don't know if you are technically the publisher, but you could put that in here. Also, in InDesign itself, in file info, you could put in here document title and author, and this sort of stuff will also be picked up. So there's a note about that here. But for now, that's enough metadata to get us a good accessibility. Now, next one, with the image description on page I selected. Oh yes, this is a tricky one. Concentrate. I'm going to hold down the Option key at this point. I might change this in the future, but for now, this is how it's working. So I want to go to my Read Aloud tools, and I'm going to do what it says here. So with the image description selected, back to the black arrow, this box selected, hold down the Option key and then click on Prepare Read Aloud on Selection. So I'm going to do that, and it's taking me over there, and I'm going to say here, I want to find live text on all layers, and I want to say, I'm just going to use audio per page. And now it's going to say, where is the audio? So this might be the file that I used earlier. So yeah, this is the front cover, and I'm going to choose that. And I'm going to say, yes, I want to use background highlighting for live text. So with those steps, what we should see here is a slight green color. This is new. This is for your image descriptions. So they're being added to this Read Aloud panel. So that's good. So for the first one, because that wasn't on there, we had to do that extra bit of work. But for the rest of them, it's going to be quicker. So that's over here. We've done this one. So I'm moving to page 1, and now I'm going to run Prepare Read Aloud on the document. So same panel, but not selection this time, on document. So I'm on page 1. Sometimes it's good to click there and to check down here that we're actually on page 1. Yes, we are. And I want to say Prepare Read Aloud on document. Now this time it's going to say this without, we didn't have to hold down any keys. And I want to say this one, find live text on all layers, because I want to use your image descriptions as well as your text on the page. Now here I've made a modification, so it's actually going to look for the right audio to match it to the page. So if I click on choose, it's starting on page 1. Yes, I will do that, and here it goes. So in the notes over here it says choose find live text on all layers and confirm starting on page 1. Yeah, so we wanted to find text on all layers. It says here also choose the relevant audio file. So yeah, you can see on here I've gone to page 2, and it's nicely in the path to the audio. If you have a look over here, it's actually picked up the fact that it's using page 2 audio. So this will take a couple of seconds. So that is page 1, that is page 2, and if we zoom out, we'll also see it's doing that. So let's just watch this for a moment. It's using the color scheme that we've put in the preferences, the blue background. If you want to change it, you can change it per page by changing those colors there, but this is just a bit of processing it needs to do to find all the text and put it in the right order and to pull it from the page. And as you can see, the green, slightly green image descriptions are being picked up, added. It's been a long day. I think the computer's as tired as me. We could change the pasteboard to make a bit more room. You can see how it's making room for itself, but if we wanted to extend the pasteboard a little bit vertically, then we wouldn't have so many columns in these panels. And some of the documents have got less words, so maybe I could have picked one of those. It would have been a bit quicker, but it's pretty speedy how it's going through and identifying all of these, and it's dropping in the right audio for each page. So because you've named your files well, then we can pick up consistency there. So just carry on using similar naming. The naming that you've used actually has got MP3 in its name twice in the audio files, but that's okay. So it's looking for it's looking here basically the name, the end of the name of the audio file before the dot. So because that is an 8, then it can spot that it's on page 8. I've put on this point 12 currently, it says adjust read aloud frames for back matter. I wasn't sure what to do with your back matter, but we could add, I'll show you how to add some audio because the back matter audio is very short. Let's just check this one while we're waiting. So yeah, it's a small file. So that we could just add that and it would just read out that without highlighting anything on the final page perhaps. Nearly there. Okay, so it's got to the end. At this point, well, actually what I'll do, it is finding, oh yeah, it's on page 12. There is an audio for page 12, so it's found page 12, but I don't think all of these words are in the audio. So one thing we can do is pull those out. I think the easiest thing to do is to actually delete that, and back to the Read Aloud Tools panel. We're gonna, on page 12, just say prepare Read Aloud on selection. I haven't actually got anything selected, and I'll just pick the back cover audio and it'll spot there's nothing selected, and we can just say add audio on page turn, and that'll just basically play the audio but without highlighting anything here. I think I'm going to just delete those rows there. That's going to be fine. Okay, so there's a little bit of tidying up perhaps for the very end bit, as it says for the back matter. I can help you with that if this doesn't suit exactly what you need. Let's get on with the timestamping. So now I'm going to click on Generate Auto Timestamps. What this will do is send the audio files for timestamping. So it knows the words and it knows the audio, and you can see there each one started on page 1. It's going to go and retrieve the timestamps. So again, there's a little bit of a wait, but it's pretty well, it's very clever and pretty quick in it's getting all the timestamps of the audio whilst we're watching. So okay, just leave the Mac to do this. It'll take maybe 3 or 4 minutes to do a whole book perhaps, and my advice is don't do anything else on the computer at that time. It's expecting to be left alone. As you can see, it's moving around the document, and this prompt is ensuring that you're always in InDesign, so just leave it in InDesign. You can watch or you can obviously do something else. It shouldn't be long. It's quite satisfying watching it drop in. Also, it's measuring the audio, so it's starting and ending at the end of the track, and this is the timing of all the audio within it, and it steps us through the document. Gotta be quick to get into InDesign whilst it's working. So we're on step 14 here, waiting for the timestamps. Nearly ready, nearly done. If you see on step 13, there was a question here about timestamping every track. I think because I've been testing on this one, it didn't ask me that question. But if you see that one, just as it says here, choose to timestamp every track, and it'll trigger it to do what it's doing now, which is basically cycling through each panel and retrieving the timestamps as it goes. I think we're at the end. It's good. Yep. All timestamping now completed. Great. So with that done, now what we've got is we're going to go back to the tool, which is here. I'll put it somewhere useful. And now I'm just going to end the preparation, and it's going to. Now we've used the timestamps because they were in the audio. We needed the image descriptions to be in the timestamping, but now we don't want to highlight them on the page. So those image descriptions will be added to the images, and their timings will be sort of subtracted from the Read Aloud. They'll still be playing the audio, but we're not going to highlight them on the page. So that's everything. Right. Then we're going to make our book. So back to CircularFLO, and if we go to the main panel, it's up here, and click on the top button here, we're going to create our fixed layout EPUB. Now, with this version, I'm going to save, I'll save this document. Good. It's asked me to save as because I'm on a slightly different version. Your version should be fine, but if you wanted to use the latest InDesign 2021, that will also work. So I'm going to save this as 30th of June, and it's the 4th one I've done today. Now, because you're using the special edition, I recommend you say yes, use a book credit, and you'll see here how this works. Let me get rid of the CircularFLO panels. So whilst this dialog is open, leave this open, and then we're going to go to this web page and basically fill in these information. So I'm going to put in my email. It's picked up the name of the file, which we can use for the credit. If you want to add a book code, that would be useful. I noticed that this one is the 30th one, so I'll just put 30 for now. and say OK to that. If this is the first time you're creating this book, then click on that one. If you need to remake them, that's fine. Just click on that one. So that is my choice, and I'm going to submit. And then we get a number 4881. So that changes every time. So 4881. Say OK, and now we are processing. Oh, you've seen behind the curtain here, my messy desktop. Let me do that. So it will tell you with these notifications what's happening as it goes along. Basically, it's exporting the document from InDesign. So we're still using InDesign to export, but then we're going to enhance the output. Now I've got a font problem on this Mac, as I said right at the start. I think that font problem might continue into the EPUB, but I'd like you to use it on your system and tell me whether you have any font problems. I've basically got a font clash from another font which I haven't sorted out just yet. So the EPUB has been written, and now it's doing some modifications. And moving it to the desktop. If I go to the Finder, we've got our EPUB. Let's just open it up in Apple Books. And we can see, and here, let's try both. Yeah, I think there's something wrong with the audio on the first page. So coming back to the InDesign document, I've just made a change. And I'll try and smarten this up, but for now we just got to be careful when there's no words. Basically, it's deleted all of the words, and when it left that last row, there was a problem. So let's make that look exactly like this on the front cover audio, and on the very last page, also looking like that. That's the change we needed to make. I could pretend I did that on purpose because it's a good way to show you that now that's been done. We can come back and make the document again. So it's saying to make a save because I've changed it. And now because it's already been purchased, I just remake it. So it's going to be a little bit quicker. I don't need to use that extra, use another credit. So we're on step 18, waiting for it to process and then open the EPUB to check. So I did put that in there because it's always good to just give that final check. And we'll run a validation check on this as well, because that's also a good way to spot any things like this. So it shouldn't take too long, and it should be there. It places the final ebook files into a folder that it puts on the desktop. So move it to the desktop when it's done. If it can't find any of the words for some reason, there's a little text file that arrives with it. But this is what we need. This is the EPUB. Let's do that check. So I'm just going to check this one. Yep, that's fine. I think I've got a font problem, but the problem is the font's not in there rather than anything else. So it's still a valid EPUB. And if I open this one up, and we'll test this one again. So I'm going to use that.
Chikope chapachanya fumu ya viuni la kusindikizika na African Storybook.
Yeah, so we've got that now. Audio
fumu ya viuni
expected.
South African viuni vinandi vili lumoza.
And if you tap on the image or the words, it will start the audio from there.
Pakati pali nduvira kale viuni vikava na ungano njiyuni njini icho chivenge fumu.
Also, the audio might sound weird on this video because I'm playing it and recording it.
Ine nina maso ya kurcho mene kujum pikoku wali na ngwinta.
So I've got a font issue, as I said right at the start, on this one. So let's see how that works on your system. But I'm really happy with how it's all working. Timestamps, the image descriptions highlighted. The image descriptions are actually inside the EPUB as well, so they're attached to the images, and we can just tap on them to hear them.
Chihowi chikapuluruka kurutamusi ndipo viuni vinyake vikamulaviska. Mbwenu chikakira musi na kayulika choko akukaka kusi kwa mapapido yake.
There you go. That's it. So I hope you appreciated the video. As I say, all the steps are here and I'll share those with you also, and then it's over to you to give it a try, and I can help you as you make your first ebooks. So I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.